If you could just all kind of gather around the air purifier up there. Hello, everyone. James and Ryan especially, from the beginning of time, parents have brought their children to houses of worship for dedication. And today you follow in that ancient custom by bringing your child, Kirin, to be received into the fellowship of this community. In doing so, you proclaim your intent to pursue an abundant spiritual life for your whole family. And by sharing with us some of the joy that is yours as parents, you give us, the members of this congregation, a chance to rededicate ourselves to life's larger purposes, and for that we are most grateful. The poet Khalil Gibran has written, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they do not belong to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may choose, or you may house their bodies, but certainly not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you." Knowing these truths and understanding the responsibilities of parenthood, will you, Ryan and James, pledge to help your child grow in wisdom and in faith and in courage? And to cherished grandparents, you have a special role in these children's lives. Will you let Kirin know all the stories of the strong and resilient people she came from? And will you encourage Kirin's dreamings and imaginings of her future?
We will.
And Phoenix and Griffin, you are the older brothers, which places you in a very special category. And so I ask you, do you promise, and this is a lifelong promise here, okay? Do you promise for the rest of your lives that you will teach Kirin how to be kind and loving, and will you protect her and help her now and in the days ahead?
We will.
Yeah? All right. And will you, members of this beloved community, pledge to nurture the divine spark within this child? Will you do all that you can to support this family and every single family who is raising children? Will you strive to work for a world in which all children grow, surrounded by beauty, embraced by love, and comforted in peace? So be it. I don't need that. We use water as a symbol of our most basic bonds. Essential to our very existence, from primeval organisms to the modern human, water reminds us of our essential connections to one another and to the earth. Last September, many of you brought water from your homes and from your travels for our annual ingathering service, and we mixed it all together, and I took a little bit of it for special uses throughout the year. And I want to ask Phoenix and Griffin, if you would come up, and would you each grab a rose and then dip it in the water and then give it back to me. Thank you. So I'm going to put my mask back on. And then I'm going to take the little flowers. Okay. I need one more hand. Oh, can you hold it like that? Okay. All right. Ready? Kirin, Nova, Doppelmayr, I bless you with this water, for all life springs from water and is sustained by it. As you are blessed, so are we blessed by your life, and we welcome you into our midst. We are so grateful for this new life and for the rededication it inspires in all of us. Let the lives of this child and all those born into this world be nourished so that the gifts within them are fully realized. O Spirit of life, wondrous and loving God, give us the strength and perseverance we need to do everything in our power to take down all that will stand in the way of those dreams. We pray this in the name of all that is holy and good. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Heather Shantz Mulford. My pronouns are she and her, and in addition to being Rhiannon's mom, I'm also her Girl Scout troop leader. Girl Scouting is based on the Girl Scout Promise and Law, which includes similar principles and values that are common across many religions. While Girl Scouts stands as a secular organization, the program has always encouraged girls to take spiritual journeys via their faith's religious recognitions. These organizations, including the UUA, develop their own programming in collaboration with Girl Scouts. Rhiannon, who is a senior in her 10th year of Girl Scouts, has completed the requirements to earn her UU Religion in Life Award. While there is a significant amount of overlap and crossover, she has put in approximately 40 hours of work in addition to the Coming of Age program. As she receives this award, I'd like to ask anyone who is or ever has been a Girl Scout to rise in body and or spirit and join in the Girl Scout Promise and Law. And Cecilia Rutledge is going to come up and help us with that.
On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
We lit 21 candles this morning. I know a lot of us want to gather in response to recent violent events, and so we're holding a special service this Wednesday evening, right after choir practice. So it'll be 6:50, 10 minutes till 7, here in the sanctuary this Wednesday, so that all of us can gather to be together first and foremost, and also to see each other, to hear from each other, to comfort one another. When sad or upsetting things happen in the world, we look for a place to hide, some place to feel safe. Some people find that comfort with their family and their friends. And other people like to do things, play video games, or go outside and pull out some weeds in the garden, or go for a run. Other people reach for spiritual words, poetry, the sutras, the psalms. Cover me with feathers, and I shall be protected by your mercy and by your affection. But you know, the mind, your mind, can also be a place of comfort and safety. And we can call that inner space, your inner space. And this is one of the reasons that we all practice metta, loving kindness, to nurture inner space, an inner space that is beautiful and cozy and warm. Today, as we have the older youth with us, I want to encourage all of us to practice a breathing meditation this morning. This is a breathing meditation to help clear inner space so that you can visit it whenever you need it. So find a pace of breathing that's just comfortable for you. Don't try too hard. Just relax. I breathe slowly in. I breathe slowly out. My breath is a pathway of peace, moving softly through me. Each day I can breathe and be. I watch the stream, and each thought is a floating leaf. There is a leaf for worry. There is another leaf for sadness. There is another leaf for rage. The leaves drift slowly away along the stream. I breathe in slowly. I breathe out slowly. My breath is a river of peace. Here, I am in the world, and each moment is another breath and another way to be. O Holy One, we call you by many, many names. There are times that we feel like we need to reach out to something, someone greater than us, bigger than us, higher than us, more potent than us, where we can lay the hard questions of why and when and what. O Spirit of life, help us to find comfort in each other, to find comfort in our own courage, in our own inner space. Amen.
Good morning. My name's Martha Snyder, she, her, and I'd like to introduce you to my mentee, Eli. She and I have had some wonderful adventures together, and I'm really honored to be in this position as her mentor. She's an amazing woman and very charming. Thank you for letting me be your mentor.
What I believe now is that there are no bad people. We are all our own version of good. We all need to help others, and it is good to have a ritual. Ritual is a necessary part of community. Most of you come to church every Sunday. For me, it's so meaningful that about 2 weeks ago, I decided to go to church, even though my hip was in pain. Of course, the only way for me to get to church that day was to ride my bike. So I got on my bike with my crutches slung over my shoulder, the griping ribbon, and I was riding. As I was riding, I crashed my bike and landed on my hip. I still hobbled into church, and I'd completed my weekly ritual. Whether you are acting upon things as good or bad, in a good or bad way, the ideas and beliefs behind it are your own ideas of good. You may see one's actions as bad, but you need to look closer and find the real motive behind their actions. What happened for them to have this motive? Everybody needs to help one another, so we don't have to see things as good and bad. We need to help those in need and help those who soon may be in need. I come from a background of being homeless up until I was 7 when I went into foster care. Having gone through this, it has shown me that we need to help each other, and if we don't, our society may soon end up as just a high class and a low class. As I continue into the world, I want to always remember this quote. A sailor chooses the wind that takes them from a safe port, but the winds have a mind of their own. The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by Offie. This quote continues to remind me that the world is always changing, and you can always try to steady yourself and pay attention to the world around you, rather than slowly going through life not paying attention. And I hope you guys can use this metaphor to help guide you all. The church has continued to support me in my new ideas, my efforts to dig deep and understand others. I believe that you all will help me continue my dreams and help me build new connections. You have all helped me so much with trying to build my nonprofit and all my other ginormous dreams I've had. Thank you.
My name is Amy Desert, and my pronouns are she and her. I had the pleasure of acting as a coming-of-age mentor for Rhiannon Shantz Mulford, who is 15 years old. She has been an active Unitarian Universalist at this church for her entire life. Rhiannon and I met several times over the course of a couple of months. I enjoyed getting to know her and finding out her thoughts on religious topics, as well as just hearing about what's going on in her life. She is a thoughtful, kind person who thinks about issues deeply and cares about social justice and environmental problems. She gives me great hope for the future of Unitarian Universalism. I look forward to seeing what she decides to accomplish in her future. It should be good.
Currently, I don't know that I have any solid beliefs. I am uncertain of a God or a higher power existing and unsure of how any of that connects to my everyday life. The practices I consider spiritual are few, and I've so far failed to keep up any sort of habit or schedule regarding them. But still, through all of my not knowing, church is important to me. I have, quite literally, been a part of the same congregation my entire life. I've grown up around essentially the same group of youth, been in the same classes with them, participated in church events with them. I know many of the adult members as well, even if it's only their name, and I've seen quite a few people leave. It's these small connections with individuals that I treasure the most about church. Saying hello to people as I help set out the coffee supplies, being able to answer their questions, particularly when nobody else is around, feeling overjoyed when I walk into our youth group room and see that someone new has joined us, and welcoming first-time visitors. For me, because of these connections, I feel welcome. Since I was little, I've enjoyed finding small ways to be a part of helping the church function. Putting out hymn books was always my favorite, particularly once I was tall enough to push the cart on my own. I have welcomed people with programs as they've walked in the door, probably the shortest greeter, at least then. I even remember the first time I was allowed in the kitchen, which was to retrieve spoons for the coffee cart. As I got older, these small jobs started becoming bigger ones. Stacking chairs, helping my parents move tables, lighting the chalice, and even speaking at the pulpit. I could carry heavier items, I knew where more things were, and I had an even greater understanding of the work many people put in to make our church our church. For me, because of these connections, I feel valued. Getting involved with youth activities is another important part of church for me. In Spirit Jam, our ideas were turned into classes on things that matter to us. In middle school group, we learned how to take those ideas out into the greater community. And in youth group, we explore why these ideas matter so much to us. The skills I've taken away from those groups are applied regularly in my daily life, in Girl Scouts, schoolwork, in my music. I've been able to help decorate for Halloween parties, I've narrated and acted in quite a few youth pageants, and I've helped host a potluck table. I've been able to offer everything from my video editing advice to my Minecraft building skills to the church youth. I am listened to, trusted, and accepted for all of my interests, and I'm able to do the same for others, forming friendships through simply talking about a favorite game or song. For me, because of these connections, I feel empowered. Coming of age has helped me learn more about myself, and has also brought up some important questions. I feel that, even though I'm still confused and unsure, my understanding of spirituality is a journey, not a destination. At this moment in time, I don't have many spiritual practices. Of course, because I'm a person that loves to explore, that's bound to change over the course of my life, and has changed in the past. I find great importance in nature and working to preserve it. I find joy in creating music. When I do feel the most spiritual connection, however, it's at church, chatting with friends, helping to create a welcoming space for others. It's when I'm interacting with a community I value.
Good morning. My name is Jason Dedrick. My pronouns are he and him, and it is my honor and my privilege to introduce to you this morning Hudson Mills. Hudson is 14 years old. He has just completed 8th grade, so he'll be off to high school this fall, and that will be in Nashville, Tennessee, where Hudson lives. He's had the unique, or maybe not so unique, experience of being a fully virtual attendee of UUCE over the last couple of years. He has been an active participant in the RE program, and you may also recognize him as a frequent guest contributor to Storytime during services. So he's had the opportunity to be very involved, even though he's been doing it remotely. Hudson and I have had a lot of great conversations over the last couple of months. As advertised, I have probably been challenged and learned just as much about my faith as he has through the process of our conversations. I'm really struck by the rich kind of inner world of ideas that Hudson has, balanced with an intense desire and expectation, really, for community and connection with the world. He's full of big ideas. He's diversely talented. Has the ability seemingly to pick up just about any musical instrument and make a go of it, and actually more than that, become proficient at it. And I keep telling him this is a really unique skill. So I have high hopes that Hudson is going to continue to be musically gifted in his life. And in true UU fashion, Hudson seems to enjoy the questions and the uncertainty just as much as anything else. So I'm sure that will be a part of his faith going forward. My wish for Hudson's future is that you continue on your path of self-awareness. You are wise beyond your years, and really remind me of the things that I'd like to pursue in my life in terms of self-awareness. So encourage you to continue on that journey. And I'm not sure that the world is really ready for you, Hudson. And so My advice is that you don't let the world the way it is right now slow you down. Continue to let your faith journey inspire how you interact with the world and what you expect of the world and how you ultimately change the world through the choices that you make. And with that, I'll turn it over to Hudson. Thank you.
So sorry about that. 2020 through 2022 has been a crazy experience that has shaped everything about me. In some areas of my life, it may have been a small shift, like a change in schedule, or doing something with a mask on. There were also bigger changes, like going to church in 2 places at once and doing school all at home. All of that staying at home that I did made me realize how much I miss the community that I felt with other people. Sure, I could talk to my family whenever, but that wasn't the same as getting to meet new people and socializing with all my friends. This brings me to the first thing that I value at Hope Church, which is the importance of building and maintaining community. Another crazy thing that happened during the pandemic was the 2020 presidential election. Watching and waiting just to see who would lead our country as people were dehumanized on national television was a nightmare. Seeing this confirmed my belief that people aren't good or evil. Like neither candidate was good or evil. They were just making bad choices in the way they were treating each other. But they weren't inherently. Even though everything was online, I was still able to attend the UU rituals that were an important part of my life. Rituals like child dedications and better communities. Very different, but they still felt the same in spirit. These rituals helped me feel connected to my community, even though I couldn't see them in person. When I was cooped up at home all day and spent hours on end in a chair doing my schoolwork, meditation and mindfulness became a great tool to stay centered in what I was doing. I would even go as far as saying that meditation became a spiritual practice that helped keep me sane. Lately, I've also found that playing music has been a good spiritual practice for me. I can express my emotions through phrasing the dynamics of the piece. I also used to learn new songs, and I love running, so I get multiple benefits from playing music. I've pretty much raised UU since I was 7 or 8. All of my values line up pretty well with the UU values. Each principle is important to me, but a few stand out more than others. One that stood out to me is the first because one that stood out to me is the first principle because I believe that everyone has worth in the world and that the aspiration and wealth should always be attached. Another principle that stands out is the fifth principle because I really like to things to be fair and people to stay informed about everything around them. Science has always been important to me because it gives me logical answers to almost everything about the universe. Even though science answers many questions, it can't answer all of them. Because of this, I'm not sure if there's a God or an afterlife. There are certainly holes in science that could be explained by some higher power. There could also be could be fields in science that haven't yet been discovered. Thank you for this opportunity to learn and present my credit to you.
It has been my great pleasure to be the mentor for Arthur, who's 15. It was a very COVID coming of age experience. We met online through video and sporadically, but almost weekly-ish, weekly-ish. And I even had COVID during that time, so that was interesting. I really appreciated this opportunity to get to know Arthur, who is a brilliant, fascinating, curious, creative, and really reflective and kind human being. We have had conversations about faith and belief and death and religion and the ridiculousness of judgment and about identity, and it has been both a pleasure and also a growing experience for me as well. Having the opportunity, the intentional opportunity to have those kinds of conversations with somebody who thinks very deeply and broadly has been a joy and helped me kind of think about who I am and what I think as well. I strongly encourage being a mentor. It's a really incredible experience. And I'm very proud and honored to have been your mentor, and I'm turning it over to Arthur.
Hi, I'm Wait, what? The mic. Okay, now the microphone is working. Good Lord. I look at religion and I can't see the wonderful things that other people see. I see all of the hubris and the excuses that people have used religion as to do terrible things, and I prefer not to look at that. I prefer to lose myself in things as sort of a lack of spirituality. It's weird. I do not know what I'm saying. I did judo instead of coming of age. About halfway through, I decided that I was getting more out of that. And judo, for anyone who doesn't know, is essentially the Japanese version of pro wrestling. I decided to do that instead of coming of age, and that's been a really sort of interesting spiritual journey. I have been going 2 times a week, and there's this really interesting community built up around it where we all throw each other at the floor, and everyone is into being thrown at the floor, and once again, I don't know what I'm saying. I apologize, I tend to ramble. The other thing I really lose myself in is Dungeons and Dragons. I create worlds, I tell stories within those worlds for people, and because I am what my sister would describe as a hardcore nihilist, those worlds kind of suck, especially in the regions that are populated by vampires. But there's also like a really fun sort of freedom in having this world that you created where what you say goes and you make the rules and create everything, and that's really helped me grapple with some of these bigger questions, like, what is your faith? What is your spirituality? What is ritual? What is evil that we were asking in coming of age before I stopped going? I didn't write a credo. I don't like to read scripted things. It sounds fake. And so I don't really have anything else to say.
It is an especially joyous event when we honor and celebrate the completion of study for our coming-of-age youth. As Reverend Jen calls out your name, please come forward and stand here in front of the chancel.
Eli Salerno, Rhiannon Shantz-Mulford, Hudson Mills, come on down. Arthur Rutledge.
Youth, who stands with you this morning as you come of age?
Leah Salerno. Heather and Robin Shantz-Mulford.
Jennifer Hackett and Brady Mills.
Samuel and Taylor Rutledge.
The act of parenting is an opportunity for tremendous joy and is also a sacred responsibility. As the parents of this youth, you have borne the primary responsibility for caring for the spiritual development of this young person, nurturing with love and with respect. You chose a congregation that stands for the values of acceptance, honesty, justice, and the open-minded search for truth.
Here, we do not seek to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own, not to impose religion upon them in the form of arbitrary rules, but to awaken the conscience and inspire the soul.
So now I ask you, who in our church community has guided this youth as mentor in this coming of age journey?
Martha Snyder. Amy Desert.
Jason Dedrick.
Jones Hollister.
As Unitarian Universalists, we recognize that an understanding of religion and personal faith identity are important parts of being a whole person. We also know that Unitarian Universalism is not an easy faith in that it asks a lot of us. We don't tell you what you have to believe. We give you the tools you need to discover what it is that you do believe and then to articulate it. This past year of study has given you the tools to begin to answer those hard questions for yourself.
While these youth may have come of age, we understand that the quest for truth is a journey, not a destination. Today we celebrate your first steps into a lifetime of growth and faith development. We are grateful for these mentors who have stood with you in your work and stand with you now to celebrate the faith you have come to accept through this year of questioning and investigating. And we ask you as mentors, have you seen these youth grow to understand the depth of their minds, the quality of their hearts? If so, please answer, we have. You may be seated.
So Eli and Hudson and Rhiannon and Arthur, we celebrate with you your conscious choice to share fully in the ongoing life of our faith. Your study with your mentors, parents, and each other has helped you to grow in your understanding of Unitarian Universalism. And so I ask you, do you promise, as our faith instructs, to seek the truth in freedom, to show love and justice, to grow in your faith, and to witness to the needed work of the world? If so, please answer, I do. The coming of age celebrants came up with their own ritual in order to seal and signify this vow. So using that bowl of water there, go ahead and all right, and then Sarah's got a little something for you. And let us now welcome these fine young people into our religious community. Let's say our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, as you go out into this brand new, wonderful week, carry your love of the world with you, and it will richly bless and answer you. Go in peace, everyone. Go in love.